Outdoors Delmarva covers everything outdoors, including real fishing and hunting situations involving wildlife. We do our best each week to bring you tasteful content, but viewer discretion is advised. Now, enjoy the show.
This is Outdoors Delmarva, presented by Gateway Subaru. Higher standards.
On this week's episode, we head to Crisfield for the annual J. Millard Tawes Crab and Clam Bake. From there, we head north to Mardella Springs for some clay shooting with a purpose. And finally, we meet up with the folks from the Tangier Classic as they put a ribbon on their tournament by helping out a local family in Bishopville.
This is Outdoors Delmarva, presented by Gateway Subaru. Higher standards. And now, here's Jason Lee.
Welcome to Outdoors Delmarva, the show dedicated to a commitment of conservation and to the community that makes Delmarva's outdoors such a hidden gem here in the Mid-Atlantic. I'm Jason Lee, and this is Tucker. Living on Delmarva is a joy and can easily be taken for granted. So last month, we hopped in the Gateway Subaru Outback and headed to Somerset County to remind ourselves why we love living here.
The annual J. Millard Tawes Crab and Clam Bake is an Eastern Shore tradition that folks from far and wide can't wait for. During an election year such as this one, the political hopefuls are out in force, adding to the excitement of the day. And at this year's Crab and Clam Bake, held at Summers Cove Marina, the weather was perfect for the traditional sights, sounds, and tastes of Crisfield. I got a chance to catch up with Scott Tawes, who was busy manning the watermelon booth, and he reminded me that 2020 will always be with us as an asterisk when counting anniversaries.
It's really 46 years, but we skipped the COVID year.
Well, there we go. 46 years strong, but we're celebrating 45, and it's a great turnout.
It is, and great day at that.
At the Tawes Crab and Clam Bake, it's all about the food and the friends.
One of the great things about local events is that you run into friends that you haven't seen in a while, and one of our very good friends, Zach Evans of Mount Terra Farms, is here, and I got to run into him. Zach, always good to see you, brother.
Hey, it's my pleasure. Great seeing you here.
So here we are. It's the 45th annual Tawes Crab and Clam Bake.
45th from what I understand, because they had to take a little hiatus.
We actually talked to Scott Tawes, who reminded me it's 46.
He clarified that to me too this morning. That's the only reason I brought it up.
46 years, but 45 actual celebrating years.
That's right, that's right. I've already been corrected, so we're on the right page now.
Now, Mount Terra Farms, obviously known for their chicken.
Yes, sir. So
but here you are, enjoying all the delicious seafood.
Look, enjoying seafood, but I'd be remiss if I didn't bring some of our world-famous chicken wings down here. So
wait, you have some with you?
We've got some jumbo wings back there in the tent for you, Jason, to check out later.
Well, I know where we're going to go right after this.
That's right. No, it's a pleasure to be here. I mean, this is very much a community event, and while a lot of folks come out for the seafood, we also come out to celebrate the heritage of the lower Eastern Shore. And so while that includes poultry and chicken, it also includes our watermen and all the bountiful harvest that we get from our waterways.
Yeah, and there's a lot of crabbers out there who want to thank you for all the donated chicken necks.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You know it.
And it wouldn't be the Tawes Crab and Clam Bake without seeing some pretty famous faces. Maryland Governor Larry Hogan is no stranger to the seafood feast here in Crisfield.
All right, so one last visit to the clam bake, huh?
Well, hopefully it's not my last visit, but it is my, unfortunately, last time as governor. But I think I'll keep coming back. I've been coming here since I was a kid.
Yeah. The Eastern Shore has been very favorable to you, and kind of vice versa. I know you enjoy coming down here.
Well, I love the shore. You know, I promised when I was running for governor in 2014 I was going to pay more attention to the shore. I thought they'd been neglected, and I think we've done everything we possibly could over the past 8 years to help the shore in many different ways.
Between the sunshine and 70-degree weather, the smiles were as plentiful as the food. Whether you're running for office or running a trot line, the Tawes Crab and Clam Bake is a centralized location where the only disagreements you'll likely hear is someone's choice of crab seasoning. My thanks to the City of Crisfield for making us feel welcome. And we here at Outdoors Delmarva can't wait for the 46th annual J. Millard Tawes Crab and Clam Bake. Coming up later in the show, we'll catch up to the folks from the Tangier Classic as they help out a local family. But up next, we'll head out to Mardella Springs to check out some clay shooting for a good cause. Outdoors Delmarva continues right after this.
You're watching Outdoors Delmarva, presented by Gateway Subaru. Higher standards.
The first Saturday morning of fall brought cool temperatures and a warm spirit of community to Mardella Springs. The 9th annual Michael S. Nickerson Memorial C.O.P.S Clay Classic brings clay shooting enthusiasts and law enforcement supporters from all over Delmarva together for a good cause.
I'm here with Chuck Baldwin, who has been gracious enough to show us around the place because this is a beautiful day and everything is already popping off. Chuck, tell us about the Clay Classic.
Yeah, it's the Clay Classic. It's our 9th year. It's 100-bird clay shoot. We have 14 stations set up here, and everybody comes out. It's a fundraiser for the Maryland C.O.P.S chapter, which is for the concerns of police survivors, for law enforcement officers killed in the line of duty. It's money to go to their families for immediate assistance at the time of their death, follow-up therapy, any kind of meetings that they need, and it's just a great event.
And it really kind of brings together the community from not just here in the Mardella Springs area, but all across Delmarva when it comes to supporting law enforcement and the families therein. Yes,
we have sponsors everywhere. There's Tri-Gas and Oil, Simpson's Towing, AquaCare, Jess Junior's Towing. There's so many to list that's been here with us all 9 years running, and the folks here at Delmarva Sporting Clays have been one of the main people for us because they host the event every year and they give us, you know, what we need, and they're just, it's the Richardson family, they bend over backwards for us.
And you're an active participant in the shoot as well.
Yes, I am. I have my squad, Team AquaCare, with a bunch of retired guys like me. They're retired 24 years from the Maryland State Police. And then I have my sons shooting in the event. They shoot for Team Just Juniors, and they've won the junior title 4 years in a row. And they always look forward to this event every year. And then, of course, like you said, today is just a beautiful day to be out here.
And you were already getting phone calls saying, hey, where are you? We got to get going.
Exactly, exactly. That's my kiddos calling me and saying, Dad, we need to go, let's go.
The annual shoot is named for fallen officer Michael Nickerson, whose mother Sue is the executive director of the Maryland chapter of C.O.P.S.
Of course, we lost Michael 21 years ago. And this was a sport that he just absolutely loved. He was a national champion in this sport. So this is one of the reasons, or the reason, why we wanted to hold this in his memory so that it could benefit the Maryland chapter concerns of police survivors. And in turn, what we do with our money is we reach out and we support all of the new survivors, all of the survivors in the state of Maryland who could use our assistance. We want to make sure that they get the seminars. We want to make sure that if they need any kind of counseling professional, then we're there for them.
When people on Delmarva come together, there's nothing that can't be done in the name of community. If you'd like to know more about the Maryland chapter of Concerns of Police Survivors, go to mdcops.org.
Coming up after the break, we'll head back to Scorchy's Corner for a look back at some good fishing in Ocean City. We'll return right after this.
You're watching Outdoors Delmarva, presented by Gateway Subaru. Higher standards.
Delmarva Sports Network, remembering Scorchy Tawes, presented by Burke Equipment Company.
After 3 years of hard times, Ocean City's largest stationary headboat is back in business. The Flounder have returned. It would be safe to say that over the years, more flounder have been caught here than from any other bridge in America. Flounder aside, the bridge is also a great place to find those 95% of the fishermen who catch but 5% of the fish.
I haven't experienced any happiness yet. No happiness. No happiness whatsoever.
Shoulder to shoulder with the 5% who catch 95% of the fish.
Very often? Once a year. How you enjoying yourself? Real good.
That's good. Curtis Weimer of Marion, Virginia, his brother Hunter, plus a grandson and his friend, spend a week's vacation at Ocean City every year just to fish for flounder from the bridge. They had taken 22 keepers the previous day. This past Wednesday, when we roamed the bridge with our trusty minicam, they were well on their way to another banner day. The Weimers are not an isolated case. The bridge is a vacation fishing spot for scores of anglers from many states, nearby and afar.
Just keep my husband coming.
Is he a good fisherman?
Oh yeah, he enjoys fishing.
Where do you live?
As is the case in Fishing Anywhere, like we said, they're the catchers.
Oh, all right.
And the non-catchers.
It's fishing. Terrible.
The bottom line is, once again, the flounder is lurking in rapid-flowing waters around the Harry Kelly Memorial Bridge in Ocean City. Somewhere out there, old Harry is smiling. Down on the bridge, there's an awful lot of smiling faces also.
Coming up next, we head to Bishopville to wrap up the 2022 Tangier Classic. Outdoors Delmarva will be right back.
You're watching Outdoors Delmarva, presented by Gateway Subaru. Higher standards.
We all know that there are plenty of reasons to get outdoors, but none better than when it comes to helping out friends and neighbors right here on Delmarva. The Draheims are this year's beneficiaries of the charitable work that's being done through the annual Tangier Classic Fishing Tournament. Lance Draheim told me just how much the love from those in the community have meant to him and his family.
There are no words that I can use. It's been 9 months ago today that we sent her to the hospital. And since that night, the love and support that we felt from our community has been absolutely incredible. There's no words. It's something I never wish that anybody would ever have to go through, but I hope that everybody understands the love and support and the goodness that's out there on Delmarva and beyond, everywhere out there, because I think people are generally good, and this restores that faith.
Adam, this is something very, very special, near and dear to your hearts, wrapping up the 4th annual Tangier Classic the right way.
Yes, sir. So 4 years, we've made some leaps and bounds in our tournament, and we've learned a lot. But sitting here on the porch this evening of the family that we have made our major donation to, our main beneficiary, Lakeland, it's amazing, man. I mean, it wraps the tournament up in such a nice fashion for us, and you know, it really just kind of puts the finishing touches on it, my friend. So what we do every year, obviously, we select our main beneficiary, and then, you know, as the tournament has grown, we've decided to say, okay, $30,000 is our main beneficiary. We'd say that's our goal, and at this point, we're making that. We're doing it, no problem. And then they add additional donations that come in directly, and that's what increased her check.
Well, I wish you all the success in the world going forward. Looking forward to the 5th annual Tangier Classic next year. And of course, we're going to raise the bar on those donations.
We are going to raise the bar. We're going to raise the bar on one more thing, my friend.
What's that?
You promised me you're going to fish this year. So next year, you got to be there.
I'm going to be there.
Yeah.
I've already got it on my schedule.
Jason, I appreciate you, buddy. Thanks, very much. We appreciate Outdoors Delmarva. And folks, we'll see you next year for the 5th annual. Absolutely.
Did you know that due to increased commercial traffic through Tangier Sound, it was decided in 1887 to commission a lighthouse be built at Tangier Island Shoal at a cost of $25,000? Now you do.
Did You Know is sponsored by North Bay Marina. Outdoors Delmarva will be right back. You're watching Outdoors Delmarva presented by Gateway Subaru. Higher standards.
Welcome back to Outdoors Delmarva. We love seeing your pictures and videos, and over the last few weeks, you've certainly sent in some good ones. So let's flip through the photo album thanks to our friends at North Bay Marina. Dalton Kinzel of Seaford harvested this 8-point buck with his Barnett drop tine crossbow. This was his first hunt by himself. Nicely done, Dalton. It's a family affair for the Cohees. Mom, Amber, harvested this impressive 10-point buck back on September 24th. She shot the buck at 25 yards with an Excalibur crossbow. This was her first deer in 9 years and her first deer with a crossbow. Her husband Matthew was with her on the hunt. Daughter Carly was 6 at the time she shot her first velvet buck back on September 1st on private land in Sussex County. She shot the 6-pointer with her Excalibur crossbow at 25 yards. Not too shabby for a day out with dear old dad. Well done, Carly. Matt also sent in a few shots from a trail cam back in late July and early August. Looks like everyone's eating good in Matt's neighborhood. Christopher Keene and his son broke out the fishing poles the morning of October 8th and headed out into Wicomico County to see what was biting. According to Christopher, they didn't need to wait long, as within an hour, he and his son had a couple of snakehead fish hauled up on land. Christopher said his son's catch measured in at 22 inches long, while his was 30.5 inches. Nice job, fellas. When the green light came on, Todd Manning of Lewis didn't waste any time as he harvested this 11-pointer on opening day of archery season. Teresa Whitelock was out on just her second hunting trip and harvested this nice 8-pointer in Somerset County. Keep up the good work, Teresa. 11-year-old Luke Townsend harvested his first velvet buck with a crossbow on opening day of Delaware's archery season. Here's to the first of many, Luke. It was no wild goose chase for Allie Grove and her daughter Ella from Frankfurt as they harvested a dozen geese on their first time out on a goose hunt. That's good shooting, ladies. It might not have been here on the peninsula, but 13-year-old J. Michael Yoder from Greenwood represented Delmarva well as he harvested this Alaskan bull moose on the Nushagak River in southwest Alaska on September 14th while on a hunting trip with his dad. He harvested the moose with a .300 Winchester Magnum rifle. The antler spread measured 60 inches, and the hunting guide estimated the moose to be around 1,300 pounds live weight. That's a whole mess of meat, Jay, and a hunt that's certainly worth celebrating. And finally, a couple of images from my trip to the Prime Hook National Wildlife Refuge for Delmarva Birding Weekend's Octobird Fest. That field trip will be coming to the show in just a couple of weeks. Keep sending in those pictures and videos by emailing us at outdoors@wboc.com. Well, that's going to do it for us this week. Thank you for tuning in, and we hope that you will join us next weekend as we get a little spooky for the Halloween season.
Remember that you can like and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and now on TikTok. My name is Jason Lee, and I hope to see you outdoors, Delmarva.